then we have to be a little cautious that how to prepare the cost statement. Because in the last session we discussed about the CRA3, right? The cost auditors report. What we are doing in the CRA3, we are certifying this, that the fair value of the cost of production, sales and margin, correct? So what we are doing, we are certifying that the cost of production or sales or margin, whatever is basically calculated or computed by the company and submitted before us for the examination and audit, right? And in our opinion, the cost of production, sales and margin is true and fair, correct? So it is a big responsibility on all of us and lies on our shoulders that we are confirming or certifying the cost of production, sales, margin of the company, correct? So, and the problem is because every time I'm saying that we have to think beyond the law and we have to think beyond the theoretically what is written. Because whatever, because the record rule says you have to prepare the company's cost records as per CRA1, right? And what CRA1 says, the CRA1 says that CRA1 are the principles and guidelines, the treatment of item of cost. Suppose if I'm talking about the royalty, right? A company says that we have expenditure of amount of rupees or cost of rupees, almost I say 1 CR of in the name of royalty, correct? So what would be the treatment of this royalty, right? Suppose the company says, my next question to the company that this royalty, what are the basis of calculation or computation of this cost of royalty to the company? The company says that I am giving this royalty based on my production, right? Then CRA1 says that the treatment of this cost of royalty would be in the cost statement like this. We'll discuss, right? Suppose my another friend, my colleague or respected member is a cost auditor in the same industry, right? But in another company, went for the cost audit and he asked the same question and he asked that what are the basis of this royalty. He says the company said that the royalty is basically computed based on sales, the volume of sales. Then CRA1 says that you have to treat this R&D, oh sorry, royalty cost in your cost statement like this. Means what both are the royalty expenditure, cost to the company in the name of royalty, but the basis of paying this royalty is different, right? In my company and in my colleague company or in my the my another friend in the another CMA friend, correct? My another third friend went to the company, again the same question raised. The company says no, we doesn't know that how we computed. We have a mutual understanding that we are going to you pay about this, regarding this, a lump sum amount, right? For the 4 5 years or whatever this, we are going to pay you 10 CR or whatever. It is not based on the cost production. It is not based on the sales. It is a mutual understanding and between both of us, and it is settled on this particular amount of 10 CR. Then the CRA1 says that you have to treat this item of cost in this like this. What I'm trying to say all of you is the CRA1 is the principle, the guidelines that how to treat this item of cost in the cost statement. correct? The another question, another point is, okay, one more thing before I move further, I want to tell you, and I think I have an announcement for all of you, because as per my, what I can see in the calendar, just hold on. I think as per the calendar available to me, the next Saturday comes on 24th, right? But the problem is, it is not a problem, it is good for us that the Institute of Cost Accountants of India is organizing the National Cost and Management, the convention at Bhubaneswar, 23rd, 24th, and 25th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So many of you, I think, going to join this session, and my humble request and submission to all of you to kindly register yourself, enroll yourself, and join this National Cost and Management, the convention at Bhubaneswar. And I'm also joining this event on this for this days 23rd, 24th, 25th. So many of the members and even me is not available on 24th because of this mega event of our profession. So I think we can do this on Thursday, 22nd at evening, if it is convenient for all of you, right? If it is convenient for all of you, we can take a next session which was scheduled on the next Saturday, but we can I think we can prepone to this session on Thursday, 22nd, Friday, if it is okay for all of you, feasible for all of you. The timing, I think 6 to 8, if it is fine for all of you. If it is 6 to 8, because I want the confirmation from all of you. If it is okay to 5 to 7, we can start by 5:30 most probably, right? So that we can wind up by maximum by 8 o'clock, correct? So, and I also request all of you to kindly, kindly join this National Cost and Management Convention at Bhubaneswar, and register yourself as soon as possible, at the earliest. Also recommend to your friends, colleagues in the CMA fraternity, or in your, the colleagues in your offices. Thank you. Right, anyways, okay, it is okay for all of you that we can start this on 22nd, Friday in the evening, because many of you would have the working on the Friday. That is the reason I'm asking in the evening. Yes, in the evening, right? So most probably by 5:30 to 8, right? And one more humble request to all of you, that it would not be possible, to schedule as per, the convenient of each one of you, because I am receiving at different timings. So my humble submission, because 23rd is 23rd, 24th, 25th. This is the dates for the convention. So therefore, I'm asking for the 22nd, right? So we can start by 6 to 8. That is fine, right? 6 to fine. Okay, 6:30 we can. Okay, we'll see accordingly. But Friday, 22nd, Thursday evening, timing will let you know, and we'll try to cope up with everyone. Anyways, let's move with the this session today. Correct? Yeah. Okay, so we were discussing about this, the CRA one, that how the element of cost can be treated in the average cost statement of this rules of this cost statement, right? So what is the problem basically while we are preparing the annexure this cost statement? The problem is the limitation of data available to us. The problem is कि हर किसी को हर तरीके से डेटा नहीं मिल पाता है, और ये प्रैक्टिकल प्रॉब्लम है. आई कैन टेल यू कि आप ऐसे ऐसे बना लीजिए, ये एक प्रोसीजर होगा, इस तरह से आपको मांगना होगा डाटा, और ये सारी चीजें होंगी। व्हेन यू आर आस्किंग टू योर कंपनी, right, when you are asking to your company, the company will say no, we cannot provide in such a way, we have this limited data, you have to work upon on this, etc., 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 right? So we have to think the practical issues as well, not the theory. We cannot limit it or restrict it to the theoretically only, right? So we have to understand, because I'm doing the cost audit since, the almost 1 decade. I'm doing the cost audit since last 1 decade. So what I can see that there's a huge problem with the data mining, or availability of the data from the company. So sometimes it's become difficult for all of us, the way we want to work, but due to certain issues, we are not in the position to do this, right? So therefore we have to understand that how long we can go, how deep we can go, and what are the important data that we have to ask, right? But before we start this annexure cost statement, right, B2 of the cost audit report, we have to understand that the entire cost statement has a three, or I would say a four stage. Let me show you that in the average cost statement, that the format what is the notified by the government of India, right, or suggested by the government of India, basically, right? So this format is basically says about three, four stages, right? And when you are going to prepare the cost statement, your objective should not only to prepare this cost statement, but you have to understand the three, four stages of this cost statement. Let us discuss for next 4 to 5 minutes about this annexures and the stages of this entire cost statement. Let me share you first the suggested format of the cost statement by the government of India as per companies cost records and audit rules 2014, right? Let me share with all of you. Let me show you. I think it is already visible to all of you, correct? Say yes or no. Say yes or no. Okay, that is fantastic. I request all of you to respond for my motivation only, right? This is the cost statement that is basically the suggested by the government of India. And the government says that you have to report the cost statement in this format. And how this cost statement has a very important role. See, and what stages I'm talking about. See, just have a look on this format, right? This is the entire format, and we have to understand this annexure of the cost statement, that what element of cost, what is the objective behind of this, the element of cost, and how we can, what data is basically required, and how we have to treat this item of cost while preparing the cost statements, correct? See, the very first important thing I would say, if the notepad and pen is available to all of you, kindly start writing on this, because just hold on. I will, you know, just wait. Let me go to this. Let me write something, right? If you are able to see these, whatever I'm writing here, you can respond accordingly. The first and the most important part of this cost statement is the raw material cost, the consumption of raw material. I request all of you to listen me carefully in the entire session, right? Many of you would already know about the things, about all these concepts that what I am sharing or discussing with all of you. But my only point is, let all the members refresh your memory, and if any one of us is not known about these concepts, let us have a look on this, right? Because these are very important part, and it help us to analyze the cost statement, or the cost structure, or the cost data of the company. Correct. See, the very important thing is the raw material cost, right? And in advance, kindly ignore this. I just want to submit, kindly ignore the spelling mistake. I'm just writing it, right? So raw material cost. In any of the cost statement, the raw material cost is very important. And how or in what format the raw material cost would be required from the company while preparing this cost statement, and it should be two of the cost statement. I will also discuss with all of you. But current right now, just have a look that the most important part on this raw material on this cost statement is the consumption of raw material, and what is the raw material cost to this product. Means if I am manufacturing this pen, I'm in the business of this manufacturing this pen. In generally in the manufacturing company, the 60 to 70% cost is the raw material cost. So that is the reason, while you are preparing your cost statement of any of the company, the very first thing that you have to be very careful, that is basically a raw material cost. Because already when you are preparing a cost statement, and out of the 100, the 60 and 70%, 50 to 70%, that vary to product, right? The cost is raw material cost. Then the product wise raw material consumption needs to be prepared very carefully. Correct. This is the first point. Kindly note on your notepad, and we will discuss about material cost again, right? The raw material cost has to be carefully prepared item wise, product wise. Correct. This is the one thing. Okay. Second thing is the cost of production. Correct. See, from the raw material to cost of production, if you want to reach from the stage of raw material to the cost of production, you have to incur some cost, right? Which is also known as conversion cost. Correct. So what is the important thing is the raw material cost plus conversion cost. Correct. Kindly note in your notepad, right? You can add this conversion cost. And what is conversion cost and what it includes, right? कन्वर्जन कॉस्ट है क्या? आपने तो ये टर्म बोल दिया, बड़ा अच्छा लग रहा है सुनने में. इट इज वेरी नाइस टू हियर द वर्ड लाइक कन्वर्जन कॉस्ट, द टर्मिनोलॉजीज यू आर यूजिंग, बट what it includes, what are the item of cost that are basically included in the conversion cost. So from the raw material cost to cost of production, if I want to reach from the stage of raw material to the cost of production, what are the item of cost I have to include, right? So what are these costs? Let me tell you. See, the all the production cost, all the production cost, right? Whatever the production cost are incurred by the company has to be included in the conversion cost. Let me show you. Correct. see the prime cost and the at over production overheads. Correct? The prime cost add production overhead, right? Then it comes to the cost of production. And what is the prime cost? Remember, all the direct production cost, right? All the indirect production cost, this is basically the total production cost, right? All the direct production cost, all the indirect production cost is basically a total cost of production, correct? So when I categorize or classify this direct production cost and indirect production cost, is basically the prime cost includes raw material, direct raw material, correct? Plus, see, I'm also telling all of you the theoretical portion as well. Let my young members and all the members who are willing to know this, let they also know about the concept of this, because when we have already, we have studied all the books in the costing, we qualified the CMA, we are working in any of the organization, we are doing practice, but we are blur with the, we are blurred with the basic concept of the of our cost accounting. And when, especially in the practicing, when we go to the, and we to the any of our client, and he start discussing about these basic things, वहां पर problem आ जाती है, right? So let us understand the entire objective, why the raw materials stage, then to cost of production. The prime cost includes the direct raw material cost, direct employee cost, plus direct expenses, correct? The direct material cost, direct employee cost, direct expenses are basically the prime cost. Just go to your cost statement. The material cost you can see in the first two, material cost consumed and the process material, correct? This, this employee cost, and this direct expense, right? Why these costs are direct cost? See, what does it mean, the direct cost? We could have a different interpretation discussion regarding about this specific point of the direct cost. But respected members, as per my understanding, the direct cost is the cost which is directly related to the object, right? The cost object means, suppose if I'm manufacturing this pen, correct? If I'm manufacturing this pen, this plastic material which can be directly identify, or which can be directly see this material, right? This is a direct material cost, correct? And what is the direct employee cost? Wages. All the workers and laborers can, those who are identified in the plant, specifically in the manufacturing line, you can have a two workers. One जो कि झाड़ू पोछा लगा रहा है प्लांट में, he is also getting wages, right? And the another worker who is engaged in a particular machine or in the production line, and that production line is engaged in manufacturing the that particular unit of the product or the cost object or this pen, I would say, that wages of the person is basically is a direct cost, direct employee cost. Correct? And what are the direct expense? Other than the direct material and direct employee or the workers, I would say, all the expenses incurred relating to the manufacturing line or plant is डायरेक्ट एक्सपेंस. मैं एक चीज छोटा सा शेयर करता हूं आपको. व्हाट इज बेसिकली, या आई विल इंक्रीज सर. सो व्हाट इज द डायरेक्ट एक्सपेंस? एक क्रेन है, राइट? मैंने उसको हायर किया. किस लिए हायर किया? कि वो मेरा रॉ मटेरियल लेके, या कोई भी ऐसा जो मेरे पास कोई एक ऐसा रिसोर्स या साधन है जो मुझे हेल्प कर रहा है मेरे रॉ मटेरियल को लाने में मेरे प्रोडक्शन लाइन तक. करेक्ट? एंड द हायर चार्जेस ऑफ सच इक्विपमेंट और मशीनरी विच इज हेल्पिंग मी, any expense, or I would say the higher charges basically that I am paying for a particular equipment, or any, the arrangement that is helping me directly for manufacturing a product, is basically a direct expense. We will discuss in, after half an hour. We'll discuss in the session today only, and I'll give you some of the examples of the direct expense, etc., etc., right? So that is basically the prime cost, the direct employee cost, the direct raw material cost, direct employee cost, and the direct expense. When we club these 3 points, or these 3 type of expenditures are basically prime cost. And when we add the production overheads, it becomes the cost of production. Correct? Currently, I am not considering the WIP or FG adjustment, valuation, etc., etc. We will discuss today or in the next session. Let us understand the entire, the element of cost in this annexure of the cost statement. So what I said, if we want to reach to the cost of production stage, what we have to do, a raw material cost, which is a part of the prime cost plus production overhead. See, when I'm talking about the overhead, it means all the indirect expenses, all the indirect cost. And what is the indirect cost? The indirect material cost, indirect employee cost, or indirect expenses, right? So the prime cost includes the direct material, direct labor, direct expense. The overhead says the indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expense. Correct? So when I club this indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expense is basically overhead, but all these expenses should be or related to be the production only. That is the reason I said the production overhead. All the cost, all the overheads related to the production only. Correct? So the point is, all the expenditure which is incurred within the factory premises has to be included before the cost of production. Correct? So all the direct and indirect. Just have a look on this. Consumables are indirect material cost, but the production related to the production. Correct? The consumables that cannot be easily or directly identified in your cost object, right? In your pen, you cannot identify the consumables used in this particular cost object or in this particular product, I would say. Correct? Repair and maintenance cost, quality control cost, right? And the repair and maintenance. What is the problem in the repair and maintenance? If you see, there is 2 types of the repair and maintenance, but when we are looking into the financials of the company, the company clubbed all the repair and maintenance, whether it is related to the car of the the directors. He bought a Mercedes car and he's traveling on this Mercedes, but the repair and maintenance cost of this Mercedes, I would say, right, that has included in the financial under the head of repair and maintenance. Correct. The house of the owner of the company, right, the repair and maintenance of the building, I would say, the building is basically has this cost of the repair and maintenance, which is basically house of the owner of the company, that has clubbed in the head of the repair and maintenance. But this repair maintenance also includes the repair and maintenance of the building, which is basically a factory building. Correct. The repair and maintenance of the plant and machinery, that repair and maintenance also includes the repair and maintenance of the plant and machinery, right? So you have to segregate these repair and maintenance with the understanding that whether this cost is up to the place of factory or out of the place of the factory, right? आपको सिर्फ एक कॉन्सेप्ट दिमाग में रखना है अगर आपको कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन निकालनी है। हो सकता है कि हेड्स ऊपर नीचे हो जाएं आपसे, दैट कैन बी अंडरस्टैंड, राइट। बट आप एक चीज जरूर देखिएगा कि मेरा रूल 5 कहता है कि कॉस्ट, ट्रू एंड फेयर ऑफ कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन, सेल्स एंड मार्जिन मुझे निकालना है, राइट। तो मेरा कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन के वक्त कॉस्ट ऊपर नीचे हो गई, चल गया, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि वो कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन का पार्ट मेरा कॉस्ट नीचे आ गया कॉस्ट ऑफ सेल्स में, और कॉस्ट ऑफ सेल्स का पार्ट मेरा कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन में आ गया। यहां पर हम लोगों के लिए दिक्कत हो जाएगी। आप अप टू द प्लेस ऑफ द कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन हेड्स ऊपर नीचे हो जाएं, चलता है, क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली द कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन वुड बी द सेम। करेक्ट। हो सकता है कि कुछ कॉस्ट आपने रिपेयर मेंटेनेंस में डाल दी, कुछ आपने अदर प्रोडक्शन ओवरहेड्स में डाल दी, बट अल्टीमेटली द टोटल ऑफ द कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन वुड बी सेम। बट द प्रॉब्लम कम्स कि जब आप इस रिपेयर एंड मेंटेनेंस, मतलब मैंने बोला कि वो डायरेक्टर की गाड़ी का रिपेयर एंड मेंटेनेंस और आपके ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट ऑफिस का रिपेयर एंड मेंटेनेंस को आपने कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन में डाल दिया, तो यहां पर आपका कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन गड़बड़ा गया। नाउ यू आर सर्टिफाइंग दैट द फेयर वैल्यू ऑफ द कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन, सेल्स एंड मार्जिन, बट माय CRA 1 says that you cannot include this portion of the repair and maintenance in the cost of production or whatever, right? So we have to be a little careful while we are preparing this cost statement. Why this cost accounting standard 1 is classification of cost. The cost account, my humble submission to all of you, kindly go through and have a look on at least CRA, the cost accounting standard 1, 2, 3, 4, right? The first 4 cost accounting standards are very, very important. The classification of cost is very important. That will only give you a true picture of the cost of production, cost of sales and margin. Correct. So we have to be a little careful. That is the reason I'm telling you the importance of the 3-4 stages of the raw material, cost of production, and then cost of sales. Correct. So just wait. The production overhead includes the indirect material, indirect employee cost, plus indirect expenses. Correct. So the prime cost plus production overhead is the cost of production. Correct. This is the cost of production. Now आप बोलोगे कि the repair and maintenance of the car, which is basically using the directors of the company, or the repair and maintenance of the building, which is a corporate office of the company but not a factory, is also cost to the company. So how you can eliminate this amount of cost from your total cost of the product? You have to include this cost of the product as well. And my reply would be that I'm not eliminating this portion of cost from the total cost of the product, but I'm only eliminating this portion from the cost of production, right? But not from the total cost of the product. Correct? So the cost of production, after the cost of production, right? This would include the secondary packing cost, right? Plus the administrative admin overhead, correct? Plus the selling overhead, correct? Plus this will include the distribution overhead. This can also be known as the selling and distribution, correct? And then interest and finance cost. Finance cost, right? Then it will become the cost of sales, करेक्ट? मोटे तौर पे ये टोटल कॉस्ट की अगर मैं बात करूं तो इसमें अभी आप कहोगे सर कैप्टिव कंजम्पशन है, क्रेडिट ऑफ रिकवरीज है, वो अभी हम सब डिस्कस करेंगे। बस अभी मैं आपको टोटल जो कॉस्ट आइटम है उसकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग आई वांट टू शेयर विद ऑल ऑफ यू, राइट? ये टोटल करने के बाद मेरा आता है कॉस्ट ऑफ सेल्स, राइट? अगर आपको याद हो तो I want to share with one story. I will not name of the company, right? And because of that case, I would say that the case 23, the manufacturing cost of manufacturing was introduced. Correct? What was happened there? I want to share with you that I don't know how many of you are known about this case. Basically, what happened? A company was in the automobile. Basically, they were into the manufacturing a car, correct? So what they were doing? Suppose the cost of manufacturing a product of car, basically, I would say, yeah, जो भी आप बोलिए, जो भी कंपनी का प्रोडक्ट था, राइट? वो द कॉस्ट ऑफ द मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कॉस्ट ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट वाज 100, करेक्ट? एंड द कंपनी वाज सेलिंग एट 90 rupees, right? You can note down on your pad as well, just to understand the case. The product of the manufacturing cost of the product was 100, right? But the company was selling on 90. If you recall the excise days, there was a rule in the excise valuation rule, rule 8, right? So what rule was saying about this excise duty, right? Generally the excise duty was levied on the transaction value, correct? Transaction value. In this case, the company was selling the product at 90. तो कंपनी 90 पे एक्साइज ड्यूटी दे रही थी, करेक्ट? तो व्हाट हैपेंड वन डे, some of the officials of the excise department visited to the company, right? It is a known case. You can also have this into Google, right? So the cost of manufacturing was 100, right? I'm telling you the importance of the cost of production, cost of sales, and I'm also telling you the importance of the cost audit report, right? So the cost was 100, the company was selling into this 90 at rupees 90. The company was paying excise duty at rupees 90 because the company says that the rule says, or the provision says in the under the excise act, that the excise duty has to be levied on the transaction value, and my transaction value is rupees 90, correct? the excise people came and visited to the company after carefully review, or they said ki no, you have to pay the excise on rupees 100 on your cost. कंपनी वालों ने कहा कि यार what type of things you are saying, just go back to your the provisions of the excise act. The excise act says that we have to pay on a transaction value. My transaction value is 90. मैं लॉस बियर कर रहा हूं, आपको क्या लेना देना? माई ट्रांजेक्शन इज 90. द ट्रांजेक्शन मींस जिस भी अमाउंट पे आपने ट्रांजेक्शन किया है. सो व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम विद यू? उन्होंने कहा नहीं, एक्साइज में एक प्रोविजन और था, उसमें कहा कि अगर आप कोई इनडायरेक्ट बेनिफिट भी ले रहे हैं तो वो भी आपको अपनी कॉस्ट में ऐड करना पड़ेगा, राइट? तो वो कॉस्ट ऐड करने के बाद आपकी ट्रांजैक्शन वैल्यू बनेगी, राइट? ये एक्साइज का कॉन्सेप्ट था. तो एक्साइज वालों ने कहा कि देखो, आप अगर कोई इनडायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ले रहे हो, इफ यू आर टेकिंग एनी इनडायरेक्ट बेनिफिट और डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट, राइट, so that the cost of or monetary value of that benefit has to be included in your transaction value, and then the cost then the transaction value would be the amount 90 rupees plus the monetary value of the benefit you are availing or getting, receiving, correct? So the company says, okay, tell me what type of benefit I'm getting. I am having a loss of rupees 10 and you are saying that I'm having a benefit. If I'm having some kind of benefit, let us know, and also tell us the monetary value of that benefit. It was difficult to calculate the monetary value in that case, in this case, because the department says that you are penetrating the market. मतलब आप मार्केट को पेनिट्रेट कर रहे हैं कम कॉस्ट में बेचकर, और इससे कस्टमर आपकी तरफ अट्रैक्ट हो रहे हैं कम कॉस्ट देखकर, और आप मार्केट को पेनिट्रेट कर रहे हैं. दिस इज द टाइप ऑफ बेनिफिट यू आर गेटिंग, राइट? यू आर हैविंग दिस टाइप ऑफ बेनिफिट. द गवर्नमेंट, द कंपनी सेज, if it is a benefit, my excise rule says that you have to calculate or you have to convert this benefit into the monetary value. So can you tell me how you convert this into the monetary terms? Can you tell me the monetary value of this benefit or market penetration? The department says no, we are not in the position to convert this benefit into the monetary terms. Therefore, as per the Excise Act and our understanding, the transaction value of your product would be cost or transaction value, whichever is higher, correct? Because you are having a benefit, but we are not in the position to convert this into the monetary value. Therefore, we will consider your transaction value as the cost of the product, cost of the manufacturing, plus or transaction value, whichever is higher. And in your case, the cost is 100 and the transaction value is 90. Therefore, your transaction value would be considered as 100. You have to pay the rest of amount of excise duty, right, along with the interest amount. वो करीब मैं आपको बताऊं तो 450 करोड़ के आसपास का कुछ ऐसा रिकवरी था. ये डिस्कशन चलता रहा, आपस में लड़ाई झगड़े चलते रहे, एंड द मैटर रीच्ड टू द स्टेज ऑफ सुप्रीम कोर्ट, ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट. सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भी ये एक फाइनल जजमेंट दिया. उन्होंने कहा कि भैया कॉस्ट ऑडिटर है कंपनी में? उन्होंने कहा हाँ ये है. उनकी रिपोर्ट लेके आओ, या उनके जो भी कॉस्ट रिकॉर्ड्स वगैरह हैं वो सब लेके आइए जो उन्होंने सर्टिफाई किए. जब कॉस्ट ऑडिट रिपोर्ट को केयरफुली एनालिसिस किया गया. दैट कॉस्ट ऑडिट रिपोर्ट आल्सो सबमिटेड बिफोर द ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट, एंड at last even the Supreme Court verdict was that the cost or the transaction value, whichever is higher, right? So company has to pay, and there is a recovery of amount rupees. I don't know, it was the exact amount. It was 400 or 500 CR, something, correct? Then the government recommended to the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, I would say the Department of Excise asked the Institute of Cost Accountants of India to, to prepare or suggest a accounting standard, cost accounting standard on manufacturing cost, correct? And that manufacturing cost is basically a CAS 23 that you can see, correct? Because earlier the CAS 1 was the classification of cost, CAS 2 was the capacity utilization, 3 was the understanding of the overheads basically, and 4 was the valuation of the product in case of captive consumption inter-unit transfer. Although in now the this has been changed basically because of the GST regime, but earlier it was the, if you recall the rule 8 of the excise, it says that 110% of the cost of production, 110% of the cost of production, है ना? And the cost of production will be calculated based on the cost accounting standards only, cost accounting standard 4, correct? So now the government says that kindly include this CAS 23 or the manufacturing cost, and then institute has introduced this CAS 23 on the recommendation of the government or the department, CAS 23, right? So that was the entire case. That is the reason I'm telling you why the cost of production, cost of sales is important, and we are certifying the per unit cost of production, sales and margin, true and fair view of the cost of production and sales. So classification of cost is very, 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 very important, correct? You have to be very, very careful. आप जितना डीप में जा सकते हैं क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ कॉस्ट में उतना जाइएगा, बट कितना प्रैक्टिकल कितने इश्यूज आते हैं, that I also understand, because generally it is not possible, to take off all the item of cost in detail, right? But anyhow, to the extent you can go, kindly go, right? So ये मेरा cost of sales आ गया, correct? So now what I want to tell you that जो आपके कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन तक के खर्चे थे ना, वो फैक्ट्री तक के खर्चे हैं. सारे खर्चे जो फैक्ट्री तक के हैं वो आपके कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन में आएंगे, राइट? जैसे ही फैक्ट्री से बाहर माल गया और उसको लेके जो भी खर्चा हो रहा है वो आपके कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन से कॉस्ट ऑफ सेल्स के बीच में आएंगे. रिमेंबर दिस, राइट? तभी आप, एक ये छोटा सा कॉन्सेप्ट है बस, आपको हर चीज शायद नेचर ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट ना पता लग पाए, बट आपको इतना जरूर आइडेंटिफाई कर लेना, भले ही आपका रिपेयर एंड मेंटेनेंस, आपका अदर प्रोडक्शन ओवरहेड पर यूनिट बिल्कुल सही ना आ पाए या बहुत एक्यूरेट ना हो पाए, बट आपका कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन और कॉस्ट ऑफ सेल्स एक्यूरेट होना चाहिए. इसलिए आपका क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ कॉस्ट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. और आपके लिए एक लेमैन कॉन्सेप्ट ये है कि सारा खर्चा फैक्ट्री तक is up to the cost of production, right? रॉ मटेरियल आपके स्टोर तक पहुंचा, उसके बाद क्योंकि स्टोर आपका वहीं पे होता है, क्या नाम है, रॉ मटेरियल स्टोर आपके फैक्ट्री में, राइट? रॉ मटेरियल आने से लेके फैक्ट्री के वो प्रोडक्ट को बनाने तक, एक बार प्रोडक्ट बन गया एंड इट इज फिट फॉर यूज एंड सेल, आप इसको कहेंगे कि भैया ये मेरा कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन का खर्चा है. उसके बाद उसकी मार्केटिंग करने के लिए आप शाहरुख खान को बुलाओ, आप सचिन तेंदुलकर को बुलाओ, आप प्रियंका चोपड़ा को बुलाओ मार्केटिंग के लिए, आप उसकी कैसी पैकिंग करो, कितनी फैंसी पैकिंग करो, क्या करो, इट इज ऑल अप टू द कंपनी, करेक्ट? सो वो सारी जो कॉस्ट है, दैट कॉस्ट विल बी इंक्लूडेड आफ्टर द कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन एंड अप टू द कॉस्ट ऑफ सेल्स, correct? So that is the basic concept, regarding the entire cost statement, right? Is it hope you people are able to understand the concept. If you are okay, kindly respond. मुझे बस 2 मिनट दीजिएगा, मीनवाइल मैं एक वाटर बॉटल लेके आ जाऊं, तब तक आप यस यस लिखते रहिए, मेरा थोड़ा कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ जाएगा. Okay, good. I am receiving so many yes, so that is good for me. Yes, I will discuss practical example. Just wait. Pawan sir, yes, we'll discuss about the admin overheads related to the production activity. Correct. Just wait. अच्छा, अब मैं आपको, अभी मैंने ये कॉन्सेप्ट आपको बताया कि ये कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन और कॉस्ट ऑफ सेल्स का क्यों, आपको पता है मैं इस पे फोकस क्यों कर रहा हूं, क्योंकि जब भी कभी डिस्कशन होता है बोर्ड में, राइट, तो कंपनी कभी ये नहीं देखती है या बोर्ड कभी ये नहीं देखता है कि मेरा रिपेयर एंड मेंटेनेंस पर यूनिट कितना आ रहा है, या मैनेजमेंट की जो कंपनी है वो ये नहीं देखती मेरा अदर प्रोडक्शन ओवरहेड पर यूनिट कितना आ रहा है. वो सीधा सीधा एक समरी मांगती है जो हम प्रेजेंट करते हैं बोर्ड को, मैनेजमेंट को, और उसमें वो देखते हैं कि हमारे जो प्रोडक्ट्स हैं उसका कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन कितना आ रहा है, मेरी कितने बन रही है और मुझे कितना मार्जिन उसमें मिल रहा है, राइट. कौन कौन से प्रोडक्ट मेरे प्रॉफिटेबल हैं, कौन कौन से प्रोडक्ट मेरे लॉस में है, तो मेरी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कॉस्ट क्या थी, टोटल कॉस्ट क्या आ रही है और मुझे कितना प्रॉफिट हो रहा है. दैट इज अ सिंपल कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ द कंपनी. तो जैसे ही मेरा ये कॉस्ट गड़बड़ाएगा तो वहां पर दिक्कत हो जाएगी, और मेरे जितने भी यंग फ्रेंड्स हैं, यंग मेंबर्स इन प्रैक्टिस, उनके लिए ये चीजें बहुत जरूरी है, बिकॉज वहां पर रिस्पॉन्ड करना बोर्ड के आगे थोड़ा सा मुश्किल हो जाता है. व्हेन मतलब जब हम बहुत ज्यादा रिपोर्ट्स हमने प्रेजेंट ना करी हो एंड वी आर very new into the practice, so I understand that it becomes a little difficult for us. So that is the reason the concept clarity is very important, and what the importance of this story of this cost of production sales is important. Correct. अब मैं आपको ना एक चीज शेयर करता हूं. करेक्ट. कि जब मैं, मुझे कॉस्ट स्टेटमेंट बनाना है, बट एक चीज मैं आपको पहले क्लेरिफाई कर दूं, जो मैं आपको शेयर करने वाला हूं आपको उस तक लिमिटेड और रेस्ट्रिक्टेड नहीं रहना है. एक प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल है जो एक किसी कंपनी का मैंने बनाया होगा, बट वो कंप्लीटली बट वो कंप्लीटली डमी फिगर्स हैं. करेक्ट. बट जस्ट अ फ्लो को समझिएगा. कई जगह उसमें ऐसा रहेगा कि वो चीज आप कहोगे कि नहीं यार ऐसा होना चाहिए था, ये नहीं है, उस पर भी हम डिस्कस कर लेंगे, राइट. बिकॉज विद द लिमिटेड ऑफ डाटा, एक छोटी सी वर्किंग में आप लोगों के साथ शेयर करता हूं. और एक रिक्वेस्ट इन एडवांस और है मेरी आप लोगों से, आप में से कोई भी मुझे बाद में ये फोर्स नहीं करेगा कि ये वर्किंग हमें भेज दीजिए, राइट. वो वर्किंग हम इसलिए आपको नहीं भेजेंगे क्योंकि हम ये चाहते हैं कि, क्योंकि आज अगर हमने आपको ये वर्किंग भेज दी तो आप अगले 10 साल तक इसी को रिपीट करते रहेंगे, चाहे कैसी भी कंपनी हो और कुछ भी हो. और उसके बाद क्या होगा, मैं, क्योंकि ये हमारी एक ह्यूमन टेंडेंसी है कि यार शॉर्टकट में काम करो जितना कर सकते हैं, राइट. बट हमें अपने कॉन्सेप्ट को खुद डेवलप करना है, इसको आपने फिर रिफाइन करना है, कॉन्सेप्ट को अंडरस्टैंड करने की कोशिश करनी है, उस फ्लो को समझना है हमने, कॉस्ट के डाटा को, फ्लो को समझना है हमने. हो सकता है आपके सबके अलग अलग तरीके हो सकते हैं इस वर्किंग को करने के, राइट? Okay, madam, no issue. So what I'm trying to say, because I already conveyed in Hindi, so one of the message I received that kindly speak in English. So my what I want to say that the only thing is kindly do not ask me the format what I'm going to share with you after end of the session, because I want you to refine yourself. You just understand the concept of the entire working and the flow of the data. Do not restrict yourself to the working I am going to share, because I have a different working for all the companies, right? And even I myself developed different formats and different, the working according to the company and the availability of data in my client companies, right? So one of the Excel working I'm sharing you, just have a look on the flow of the data कि हम कैसे कॉस्ट सेंटर वाइज हम थ्योरेटिकल वी आर वी आर लिसनिंग सिंस मेनी इयर्स that allocation of the cost, absorption rate, cost center wise, production cost, etc., etc. So many things we have heard in our past. So let us understand how the data flows and how to prepare this, the cost of the product. But again, I am saying you do not restrict and limit yourself with that working only, because it is based on a particular company with the limited or the data available with the organization, correct? Just wait for a while. Are you able to see the working in the screen, yes or no? Thank you, Sudhir sir. Thank you, Divya ma'am. Thank you, Yashi ma'am. Thank you, Pawan sir. Thank you, Hukum Singh sir. Thank you for your response. Okay, good. See, one of my company is in the manufacturing of vending machines, right? The company is manufacturing a vending machine, right? So kindly kindly have your notepad with yourself, keep your notepad with yourself, right? And just note down the flow of the data, correct? And try to understand the concept. And that concept can also vary company to company, industry to industry. It is generally a manufacturing company that I'm discussing with you, that how the classification of cost is important, absorption rate is important, and how the cost centers can be identified, and how the data can be, or the cost structure cost data can be flow with the cost centers, correct? So this is a company, right? And these are the basically income that I have incorporated from the trial balance or the financials of the company, right? This is the income statement of the company. What I do while I am preparing the cost statement of the company, because this is the very important, because once you prepare your cost statement, and then the another important point is the reconciliation statement. These two annexures are the very important, and once you have prepared and you are comfortable with these two things, then it means you have done your the annexures of the cost audit report, correct? So this is very important annexure. So my only focus is to prepare the cost statement and the reconciliation statement, correct? The rest of the annexures can be prepared anytime. Yes, we can do this with the trial balance. Just have a look. My first objective is to control the entire income, right, on my working. So what I did, I prepare a income control chart कि मेरी what are the incomes available to me, right? And what are the operating income, what are the, the other operating income, what are the other incomes. These are the things that I have incorporated in my one of the chart that is known as the income control chart, right? Many here, what you can do, you can also prepare, if you have 2, 3, 5, 6 products, you can also prepare product A, product A, product B, product C, right? You can write here, you can segregate this 7, 6, 9, 3, 2, 1, 3, 9 into these 2, 3, 4, 5 products, correct? So this type of control chart first you have to protect, which can tell you, kindly hear me carefully, listen me carefully, which can tell you the item wise sales, right? What are the sales that, or what are the revenue which cannot be considered in the cost records, correct? What are the income? Just have a look on the non-cost items. All your incomes, remember my point is, while you are preparing the annexure to the cost statement, right? The cost statement as annexure, you have to understand that you have to classify all of your income into 2, 3 parts. First, your operating income. And out of the operating income, you have to classify this operating income in your each of the product, correct? If the company is manufacturing the 5 product, you have to classify all income revenue generated from each of the 5 product, right? And this should be tallied or mapped with your operating income from the product of your financial account. Carefully remember, correct? Why this other income is being considered as a non-cost income? All the income which is non-operating in nature, all the income which is non-operating in nature, and the income which is abnormal in nature. Kindly note in your notepad all the income which is non-operating in nature and all the income which is abnormal in nature will be classified under the head non-cost income. The non-cost income means the income which will not be considered in the cost records of the company. Correct? This is basically the non-cost that I have segregated to this. Correct? Now, what is the non-operating? Obviously, in your financial, all the other income is non-operating. Correct? But what is abnormal income? That you have to ask to the company, any income which is abnormal in nature, which was not recurring in nature, right? And that will be considered under the income of non-cost income. A non-cost income means the income which cannot be considered in your cost records and will be part of your reconciliation statement. Correct? What I did now, out of this, now these incomes will be considered in the D column, correct? Will be considered in the cost, correct? First, the revenue generated from the product, vending machines, correct? The another is some of the trading income is there. They are trading of the parts, correct? Third part is some of the services is there, correct? Just hold on. And likewise, I have classified the entire income of my trial balance and the profit and loss account. Kindly note in your, you need not to copy this this particular the screen you are you can see, but the objective is just and just to understand the concept that what income has to be taken in the cost accounts and what income cannot be taken in the cost accounts. One of my, one of the participant respected member asked the insurance claim received, right? If I'm not wrong, is it the question? Insurance claim received? Okay. So if the insurance claim received, it is a non-operating, it is not an operating. Operating is what your main line of business. आप किससे पैसा कमा रहे हैं? मैं पेन बेच के पेन बनाता हूं, ये कंपनी वेंडिंग मशीन बनाती है, तो वेंडिंग मशीन बना के उसको बेच के जो पैसा आएगा, उसके पार्ट्स को बना के बेच के जो पैसा आएगा, उसके जो रिपेयर मेंटेनेंस और कुछ सर्विसेज दे के जो पैसा आएगा, दिस इज ऑपरेटिंग इनकम. इंश्योरेंस क्लेम कोई तुम्हारा खराब हो गया प्रोडक्ट, राइट, और वो आपको यू हैव टू क्लेम फॉर इंश्योरेंस एंड यू आर रिसीविंग दिस इंश्योरेंस क्लेम, कैन नॉट बी कंसिडर्ड एज योर ऑपरेटिंग इनकम. करेक्ट. I would like to welcome Santosh Pant sir, the chairman of the NIRC. I just sir, welcome, and thank you so much for joining the session today. We were waiting at the very beginning, but anyhow, thank you so much. And if you want to say something.
Thank you, Manish. Thank you. Please be continue. I will not disturb the program.
Sure,
yeah,
sir, sure.
I will listen the your lecture.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So nice of you.
Continue.
So nice of you. Okay, so this is the concept. What I want to tell you, that first, the entire income of the company has to be in your control. Correct? The concept number 1. Have you noted down? Kindly respond yes or no. Good. Because जब तक मेरे पास, until unless I doesn't have the entire income, I would not be in position to calculate the margin per unit. Therefore, your entire income has to be in your control. Now let's move to the expense, right? Because we have to calculate the cost of production and cost of sales. You need to prepare your likewise income. You have to calculate your, the expense control chart, right? Sir, if insurance claim is on fire in raw material, sir, kindly tell me, is insurance claim, whether it is related to your finished goods or raw material, is your operating, is it your business to fire your raw material and then ask to the insurance company for claim? Is it your business? If it is not your business, then obviously it is a non-operating. It cannot be taken as your operating income, right? Thank you, Miss sir. Anyways, okay, now let's move to the expense control chart. A very small working that I'm sharing with you, right? What we did, the entire cost, right? The figures are dummy. I'm telling you in advance. Okay? Some of the items I have eliminated and removed from the expense item as well, just to show you the flow of the data. So kindly do not go to this the figures. Just have a look on the concepts portion, right? Then this entire, the expense control chart, I would say all the item of expenses, many of them I have eliminated, right? This, and this is basically from the financial heads, I would say. Just listen the entire working, correct? This working is basically specifically for my young friends to understand that how the data is flow, right? Now, in each of the cases, these are the cases, the raw material cost is basically posted or incorporated in the RMC column. The entire wages is basically this I have segregated from your trial balance, right? Or the details that I have asked to the company, right? Salary, what is the salary, what is the wages, what are the power, fuel, etc., etc. This is the entire, the cost to the control chart. Many of the things still need to be done on this working, because like in case of employee cost, I would say, like this salary, that is the entire salary is posted in the L column, but you can also ask to the company the departmental wise your salary data, correct? Kindly note this, departmental wise salary data, and then you can identify that which the departments are related to the production and which are related to in between to the production to the cost of sales, and then accordingly you can post the salary amount. Suppose this salary amount is basically related to the production, maybe some of the people are in the quality control department, so you can post that amount of salary here, correct? And maybe some in your repair and maintenance department you can post this, but first you have to ask the company the departmental wise your salary detail, your payroll ka data, correct? Then only you can identify what are the departments are within the cost of production and what are departments are within the cost of sales, so that you can incorporate that amount of salary on particular heads, correct? Currently I have not posted, just I told you that the figures are absolutely dummy, correct? Got my point or not? Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay. This was right. अब मेरे पास क्या हुआ कि मेरा I now the entire income of the company is with me, correct? Now the entire expense of the company is with me. The two control charts is prepared by me, right? Now the third another important stage is to prepare the stock movement details, right? The stock movement detail is basically what amount of stock was available in the beginning of the year, how much quantity item wise, how much quantity you have produced, correct? How much quantity you have purchased, the same category of the product, correct? How much quantity is lost in the fire, how much quantity is lost due to any uncertain reason, how much quantity is basically transferred to the for manufacturing the another product like the captive consumption, how much quantity is sold out, how much quantity is left with you. So this type of a control chart you have to prepare. So just ये एक छोटा सा इसमें मैंने वो कैप्टिव कंजम्पशन वगैरह वो सब चीजें नहीं डाली है इसमें दी डिटेल्स रिलेटेड टू दी स्टॉक फायर लॉस्ट इन द फायर और द कैप्टिव कंजम्पशन एक्सेट्रा इज नॉट गिवन, करेक्ट? This is basically I would say the whatever the see this is the item code of the product. The company is manufacturing almost 60 to 70 type of items, correct, of different grade, and these are classified as the vending machines, etc. See what amount of opening, what amount of inventory was at my what was the opening stock with me, okay? What was the production? There was no purchase of the same product, correct? Therefore no finished goods project FG purchased is not mentioned here, correct? Do not go in the spelling, right? Sales quant to how much sales, right? And now see, now I have segregated in this column from the sales register, right? That against this item code, how much revenue I have generated. It is 7424379, etc. This entire project, all these 60 products are basically under single HSN code. I'm telling you, I need to report only one cost statement for the cost audit report. But when I have to prepare the cost records needs to be prepared item wise. Therefore, the entire cost statement or the entire data has to be with me for each of the item. Correct? This is my stock control chart. This amount of quantity is left with me. Correct? The figures are dummy. So now what I did, the three important pillar of any of the product, right? Okay, Aradhana ma'am, I will show you the non-cost heads in the expense control chart. Okay, I'll go back to this. Let me complete this inventory movement chart, stock control chart, correct? So three control chart I have prepared, which is very, very important for my young friends and the members joining this session today while preparing this annexure cost statement of the cost audit report, correct? Or the records, I can say. So the total income of the company, right? Item wise income is available to me. Remember this. Now the expense control chart is with me. How much administrative overhead, how much raw material consumption, how much consumables, etc., etc. Correct? Now the third point is the uh, stock movement chart. How much stock was with me at the beginning of the year, how much purchase for each of the item, but only FG and SFG. Remember this. Okay? Not of the raw material I am saying here. I'm talking about the FG only. Correct? So these are the items has to be available with me. These three control chart. Correct? Is it okay to all of you? See, the I Rishabh sir, the scrap of finished goods is credit recovery or other operating revenue. Sir, scrap recovery is, see, the credit recovery is basically a treatment of the scrap in the cost statement. The credit recovery is basically a treatment of scrap in the cost statement, but it will be classified as other operating income in your financials or for your cost records purpose, right? Okay. No, it is for FG and SFG both, because sometimes this control chart has to be for FG and SFG both, because suppose if you are manufacturing 5 FG and the another one SFG which is basically using in your another FG, but the same SFG you are, the using, you are selling to the outside customer, and you are also using the same product in manufacturing of another FG. For example, Krishna Chaube sir, just for an example, suppose product A, right? It is manufactured 100 quantity, right? Now this 100 quantity is, out of the 100 quantity, 50 is used for manufacturing product B, and 50 quantity is sold to the customer. Therefore, this is your FG and SFG both. Therefore, you have to prepare this control chart for all of your items. Correct? Okay. Let's move to the. That's good. That's good. Okay. Aradhana ma'am, I think she asked about the expense. Go back to the expense control chart, right? See, in depreciation, I have directly posted the entire depreciation, but it is not like this. You have to further classify this depreciation into, because the depreciation of your machines, right? I already told you, you have to identify the cost within your factory and outside your factory, correct? Even within your factory, some of your depreciation of the machine are basically in your quality control department, in some of the machine in your repair and maintenance department, in some of your, in your, in any other department. So you can further classify this depreciation of amount in department wise further. In advance, I already told you that the figures are dummy, so I can only clarify the concept so that you are not restricted. You cannot make yourself restricted to this working. Therefore, the figures are absolutely dummy. Correct? So, and this, they see nothing is written in the administrative overhead. Is there no depreciation in the furniture and fixtures of the building of your corporate office? No, it is not the case. But I have not incorporated because the figures are dummy, but you have to further depreciation has to classify department wise. कहां कहां पे कौन कौन सी मशीन है उसको उसका डेप्रिसिएशन वही डालोगे आप, करेक्ट. बट जितना आपको मिलेगा आप उतना डाल पाओगे, जितना नहीं मिला तो यू कैन नॉट फाइट विद एनीवन, करेक्ट. नाउ गो बैक टू योर नॉन कॉस्ट आइटम्स. मैडम अगेन आई एम टेलिंग यू whether it is an income or an expenses, all the expenses which are not in operating nature, and I would say the expenses which are abnormal in nature and non-recurring in nature will be classified as non-cost items, correct. So any expenses, custom duty, correct, any item which are in nature of your financial nature, any expenses which are of your financial nature, any expenses which are abnormal in nature will be classified under non-cost item. But further, it is a matter of debate and discussion with the company in each of the expense, right? Whether it, maybe it is possible that in one of the expenses in my case is will be classified under the non-cost and it is not in your case. But we have to discuss with the company whether the expense is abnormal in nature, वो कभी होता ही नहीं है, इसी बार हुआ, ठीक है, और इट इज नॉन ऑपरेटिंग इन नेचर और फाइनेंशियल नेचर, राइट. ऐसा कोई भी खर्चा जो एबनॉर्मल नेचर का हो, फाइनेंशियल नेचर का हो, दैट विल बी क्लासिफाइड अंडर नॉन कॉस्ट आइटम, करेक्ट. Got my point or not? Shiv sir will come back to you, huh? Let me complete. Just give me a second, please. Let me have a sip of water. Madam, I have not much classified these expenses into this. I'm telling you, only one expense is classified under this, right? But see this amount write-off. Madam, Aradhana madam, if the amount was there, suppose 100, this will be classified as non-cost, correct? Any expense which is financial in nature, any expense which is abnormal in nature will be classified under non-cost item. Now it is up to you to classify this, right? Suppose one more example, bad debt, 100. This will be called as non-cost item. I have to do this anyhow, correct? Madam, Pradeep sir, there is a concept of financial expenses, financial charges, interest and finance cost. I will tell you. Let me move ahead. I'll discuss about the financial because it is very important part, right? Anju madam, rebate and discount on sale. If it is a trade discount, then it is a, it will be considered as a cost. And if it is cash discount, it will be considered as non-cost. Correct? Anyways, let me complete this entire working first, then we'll go back to the questions. Anyways, and then I asked to the company that what is the raw material cost, and for this raw material cost, I'm telling you there is a big backup because the BOM is basically being received. I cannot show you the BOM of the company, or therefore the average material cost per unit of the company was like this, right? And I will tell you that what type of BOM I have received. Just wait for a while. Just hold down, huh? Just hold on, just hold on. I asked to the company for the bill of material of the product. This are absolutely a dummy figures, right? The product A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z, quantity produced for this product, indigenous, imported. Can you see the screen? Can you see the screen? Yeah, standard bomb. Whatever the available to the company, it is actual standard that is depending on the company. I will not comment here that you have to ask only actual, only standard. No, it is not possible. Just have a look on this item wise, how much quantity is used to produce this particular per unit of this product A, right? And as per the whatever the rate it is, and the product for PP, it is indigenous, how this much is imported, and this the another raw material is RB, right? The it is indigenous, it is imported, figures are absolutely dummy. This is talc or whatever you can say, the indigenous imported, and by this way the entire raw material consumption is basically calculated. It was the total raw material cost of the product, just for your assumptions, correct? Suppose now the total material consumption is of the company is actual material consumption as per the bill of material you have received, right? Is this much 166 cr, 166.14. But as per financial, there is something like this 17 something, 17 cr, correct? Yes, we want to know the treatment of RM variance. What my CRA1 says, what my cost accounting standard says, right? Because you have taken this rate of the material cost on a standard rate basis, correct? So obviously the actual material, because in the entire period, sometimes you would have seen the variance in your rate of the material cost. So definitely the consumption of the material in your financial and the actual consumption what you have taken is not mapping, correct? So what CRA1 says or what the cost accounting standard says, in case there is a variance and it is not a huge variance or it is up to the 2% of the material variance, you can adjust this material variance to the total to each of the product. Whatever the ratio you want to take up, you can allocate this variance to all of your product, whatever the feasible variance available, whatever the feasible basis available to you, correct? सी अगर मैं ये कहूं कि मेरा इतना वेरिएंस है और इतने का है, बट यू हैव टू नोट, you have to disclose in your CRA3 that the material consumption is taken on the standard rate basis, right? The rate, आपने ये बिल्कुल नहीं कहना है कि हमने एक्चुअल लिया हुआ है. You have to mention, you have to disclose in your cost audit report that the material consumption has taken on standard basis, right? Because some of the portion you have further allocated to this. अगर आपका 40% 50% का वेरिएंस आ रहा है और 20-30% का वेरिएंस आ रहा है, if you have a huge variance of 20%, 30%, 40% variance as per your financial record and as per the BOM available to you, then something is fishy. कुछ तो प्रॉब्लम है, दाल में काला है. So better either you give your observation, you qualify report, or you ask company to give the correct data, because it is not possible to have this much of huge variance. But yes, up to the 2% variance you can further allocate to this, correct? Don't take on your shoulders or that there is a huge variance of 20%, 30%, and you say that Manish in that session says that if there is any variance, you can further allocate this portion of variance. No, this is only up to the 2% something. It is not that any amount of variance you can allocate to your products. Correct? So that you have to understand. If there is a huge variance, either the data is not correct or something is fishy. If the company is not ready to provide you data, you kindly disclose in your audit report. Right? You cannot take on your shoulders कि वहां पर 1 crore का material consumption है, in the financial record there is a 1 crore consumption, and you are the data available to you is only the 60 lakh, the consumption of raw material is 60 lakh. No, it is not possible at all. Correct? Okay, let us move now. So this was the basically this type of raw material data you have to ask to the company, and you have to check with some of the, because each and every bomb, if you are not able to examine or review, you can ask some of the bill of material from the company, and then you can just have check and review whether the details is given to you is correct or not on a test check basis. Correct? Sir, if there is a 30% variance, means something is wrong. Either the data is not correct, or means some problem with it. So obviously, do not take on your shoulders that we have taken us, the actual raw material consumption, and you are not showing any variance. Either this variance, if the company is saying that whatever the actual consumption is given to you is correct, so either ask the reconciliation statement from the company. Kindly note this: if there is huge variance, and even though company is not ready to accept and saying that no, the product wise, item wise consumption given to you is correct, so ask company to kindly provide the reconciliation statement of the material consumption as per financial record, and as per the data given to us. Right? एक तो ये point हो गया. Second point, if even though if the company is not ready to provide you the reconciliation statement, you can rightly mention in your cost audit report that the during examination or audit, the reconciliation statement is not provided to us between the consumption as per financial and consumption as per cost records, or whatever the variance amount is there, you can directly disclose in the company. And I think no company will allow you to mention this variance in your reconciliation or in the CRA 3. So company has to provide this data or have to reconcile the consumption details, because raw material consumption is the major part of the major cost of the product. Right? No, this allocation to be done among all product covered or not covered, madam. Sumanta ma'am, I'm not talking about the products covered in the audit or not. See, the reporting is a different part, but when you are preparing the cost statement, individual cost statement, you have to prepare for all, irrespective of covered in audit or not. But once you prepared cost statement for all, then you have to segregate what are the products are covered or not covered. Only covered products will be reported in the financial in the cost audit report, and not covered will be taken in the reconciliation statement. Correct? Chetan sir, the concept I discussed, now the language can be prepared accordingly. Right? Yes, if there is a 5 to 6% variance, better you mention this into the reconciliation statement. You incorporate the same into the reconciliation. Correct. Pratyush ji. Okay, let me go back to my working. Just wait. Again, is my working is visible to you? Can you see my screen? Back to my working. Okay, just hold on. 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 I will show. I will show. Okay. So now the control chart of expense, control chart of income, control chart of stock movement is available to me. Raw material consumption item wise, I already discussed with you, is available to you, right? The 4 important points are is with you now. Let us go to the, one of the metrics that have to prepare, right? Ab hame, what we have to do, we have to identify, we have to prepare the, the cost centers, and then we have to further allocate the production cost, right, to the cost centers. So this is a particular metrics, distribution of overhead in cost centers, right? Just have a look, no hurry. This I have identified in the company. Just wait. Is my screen visible to you or not? Yes, yes, yes. Say yes, yes. Okay, that's great, 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 great. See, now in this company manufacturing in the vending machine, right? I have identified these 6 cost centers, right? Production cost centers, correct? You can identify your cost centers according to your company, or whatever the, the availability is there, because cost centers can be departments, cost centers can be products, different products, cost centers can be the machines, or of the production lines, right? Because suppose a company is manufacturing a product A, B, C, D, right? And this, as I show you in this my working, that the company is manufacturing 60 type of machines, right? And they have a different machines for manufacturing this product, and these are known as punching, bending, welding, j this was basically JV something, it was not job work basically, right? So forming, assembling, right? This was basically the cost centers I identified. Sometimes if it is not possible for you to identify the cost center like this, right? Yes, how to identify the cost center practically. I'm telling you, if you are manufacturing 5 products, A, B, C, D, E, you can say that my 5 products are cost centers, correct? If you want to further drill down, you can go to the production lines, right? If you want to go further, if you want further drill down, you can identify the different machines as cost centers, from raw material stage to manufacturing the product. Whatever the manufacturing line or manufacturing machines are there, you can call them as a cost center separately. That is depending upon company to company. But if it is not possible for you practically, what you can identify, you can say that if there is a 4 products, these 4 products are my identified as a cost centers, and A, B, C, D. And even if the product, you doesn't want to identify them as a cost center, you can take the cost center department as a cost center, like quality control department as a cost center, repair and maintenance as a cost center, the manufacturing line, the entire manufacturing line you can say as a production cost center, right? So these are the things, correct? Just wait, huh? Okay. See, sir, the purchase department is basically a sourcing department, right? So it is basically, the entire cost is basically taken under the raw material consumption cost. And further, if you want to take their salary, if they are into the raw material purchase department, sourcing department, you and if you want to classify the expenses of these departments, specifically the purchase, obviously either you can classify the purchase as a cost center, otherwise you can take all the, like, if there is any expenditure, like the some of the employees are there working, the cost or salary of those employees engaged in sourcing of the material cost, etc. You can also take them as a production overhead, correct? Other production overheads. Okay. So just check. I have classified this 6 cost centers, right? And I asked them, tell me how many workers, salary, or employees available to you with all of the cost centers, correct? So number of workers I have written here 9, 5, 6, 6, 6, 17, right? Just have a look on the screen carefully. The staff, you can amend this accordingly, correct? The total was this. I have identified the production cost center as is punching, bending, welding, JV, forming, assembling, and the service cost center as the accounts, administration, and sales, correct? You can identify like anything, right? You don't need to restrict or limit yourself with these cost centers only, correct? These are the salary, and this is the salary amount basically 39 approx 4 cr or something, whatever it is. Just have a look. There's the expense control chart, the total amount of salary I have taken from this. That is the reason I said you the expense control chart is important part. This 39,962,268, this amount basically, right? This is basically allocated based on the staff, correct? This. See, whatever the number of staff was available to each or engage to each of the machine was allocated based on the number of workers in each of the cost centers, right? So the entire salary is basically now distributed in the cost centers. So the total cost is 3.99 CR, and you can see that now I have, based on the number of staff, I have allocated the entire salary on the production cost centers and service cost centers as well, correct? In the same line, I have number of workers engaged in each of the machine. Okay? It is a dummy figure, I'm telling you again. Now, the total wages paid by the company is 4.20 CR, correct? Now, based on the number of workers I have allocated to this, correct? Because in the administration, there was some workers. There is no worker in the sales where the company is paying wages. There is nothing in the accounts, but yes, there are workers in each of my plant like this, correct? Okay. Madam, Charu, madam, what about the warehouse employee cost? The warehouse employee cost is basically once the product is manufactured, it has to be stored in the warehouse of the company. Means it is a post cost of production or post factory service. So the warehouse employee cost will be considered in the selling part, selling cost, right? Selling and distribution that I have discussed with you, correct? Okay. You just need to understand, if you are asking me something, not only Charu ma'am, you, but all the participant, just we have to think that what we are asking is up to the cost of production or after the cost of production. हमें एक ही थंब रूल अगर कोई थंब रूल मैंने अभी तक समझा है इसमें, तो मेरा कहानी एक यहां पर आके चलती है कि मुझे पता करना है कि व्हाट इज द मार्जिन per unit of the cost of production. Oh, sorry, what is the margin of each of the product? For calculating the margin of each of the product, I have to calculate the cost of sales, because in the cost of sales only I will add on my margin percentage and then it will come to the sale price. So first I have to calculate the cost of sales and then I have to go back, and then for the cost of sales, first I have to understand the cost of production. So these are the stages we have to be a little careful, and we have to understand that whatever the expense is related to this department or to this stage, correct? Okay, in the same way, I have allocated all my wages These are the unit consumed, power unit consumed, my respected members, in the column J, right? The cost center wise, I have allocated the entire power and fuel cost, and this power and fuel cost was taken from the expense control chart. This, correct? And then rent, rent of factory, that I have, the floor area is available to me. I have allocated this based on the floor area, correct? In the same line, the repair and maintenance was also allocated in the floor area, building also, etc., etc. Depreciation was basically taken on the the FAR value of the machines, so it is not allocated based on any of the basis, so it is not available here, correct? Anyway, so this is basically the entire cost, to the entire cost is allocated, correct? Now just go to the another stage. It is now the distribution, primary distribution and secondary distribution, that you would have heard in while you are doing for any of your company or in your books, correct? Just give me a second, let me have a sip of water. Hope you all are enjoying this session. Yes or no? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sir Pawan sir, don't worry, I will definitely discuss with you on the administrative overhead related to the production activity. Definitely. Just let me complete this. Let me note down your question. I will discuss with you. Administrative, so that मैं भूल ना जाऊं. Related production. Thank you. Okay. So now this is a distribution channel, correct? See, this was the allocation of my entire cost, production cost, right? Further, it is distributed to my service cost center as well, correct? Some of the cost, because जिस cost का मेरे पास नहीं था, तो I was not in the position to calculate this, and I directly allocated those costs on some of the basis that I will show you while I will show you the individual cost statement of the products. So whatever I could get the data regarding against some of the cost that I have allocated based on those ratios only, like this worker, power units or floor area, etc., etc. Correct? Now this is a distribution. See, these are my production cost centers: punching, bending, welding, this, right? And these are my service cost centers: accounts, administrative, and sales. Correct? Now just have a look on this. This is my total cost. Correct? Just wait. I will show you. Yes. See, this and I would say this and this was right. Just give me a second. Right. See, now what I have done, this employee cost, now the allocation has been started, distribution has been started, the primary distribution and the secondary distribution. What we do in the primary distribution, all the expenses has to be distributed in the production cost center and the service cost center, and in the secondary distribution, the service cost centers expenses has to be further distributed in the production cost centers, right? So just have a look this. This was, see, the employee cost, direct employee cost for me for each of the cost center is how much? Punching this is my first cost center punching, and the total employee direct employee cost is basically that has been allocated to 8760371. See, sometimes what happen, you have to also consider the opinion of the company, right? So accordingly you have to prepare the cost data, correct? Because if the company is not comfortable with whatever the allocation distribution you are asking, so then it becomes difficult to reach to a particular conclusion, because somehow the board has to approve this. But anyhow, your cost of production has to be correct. The heads may vary. Sometimes some of the salary amount the company wants to take this into the direct employee cost, but you are showing this into the other production overhead. You need not to further fight with the company. Ultimately the cost of production would be the same, correct? But in your notes this should be available with you, that what you have, what and where you have included, correct? So in this case, what happened? This, the total employee cost is this, this plus I, G plus I, correct? And the power and fuel is 399,513,283525. See, 399,532,283525, like this, correct? All these cost has been incorporated here. Now what you have to do, out of the, see, now the primary distribution was already done in the matrix section. Now you have incorporated this primary section, that employee cost, my cost center wise is this. In the production and cost center, power fuel is this, repair is this, depreciation is this, etc, etc, etc. Correct? Now what you have to do, this allocated cost. What is the allocated cost? Now the administrative over has to further allocate on this, right? Now, what is the allocated cost? The allocated cost is this. Just wait for a while. This. See, the accounts and administration and other is considered under the administrative department. Therefore, the total cost is 38,944, right? The total cost, allocated cost 38,944, plus some of the direct costs which was directly identifiable, that these costs are from the administrative department, and it is taken from the, sorry, it is taken from the expense control chart. This is the total cost 32,278, right? See, the administrative cost, one part is what, which is come from the allocation, right? And another part is which is directly identified, that it is directly related to the administrative activities. Correct. This is one type of working that I am showing. Right. It is further allocated. Right. On what basis? The total cost of production cost of each of the cost center. Based on these ratios, this cost has been allocated. Correct. In the same line, the sales allocated cost, is this, right? And further, the direct cost, which was directly identified, I'm telling you the figures are dummy, right? This cost is water sewage. I have mentioned whatever it is here, right? The total sale cost is this. Correct. So further, this allocated based on what portion? This portion. In this ratio, the total cost of the production plus the further allocated the administrative department. So total cost comes this 98687 plus 12165. It becomes 21853, and this further allocated based on this. You can take the ratios as per your convenience. Correct. It is not that you have to follow this only. Correct. Now the important point is the total equivalent production. What is the equivalent production? Suppose you are manufacturing these 60 type of products, right? 50-60 type of products. Correct. These are the item codes. Correct. Now these are the cost centers: punching, bending, this. Total production was 625, 53, 101 of these, each of the article. But now you have to identify whether this CM1250 article and manufacture 625 product it was passes through all the machines or not. If it is passes through all the machines, then it means it while it was manufacturing, the entire 625 units were passes through the punching cost center, from the vending cost centers, through the welding cost centers, through the forming, assembling, etc. Maybe in some of the product, my respected members, maybe some of the products, suppose the ENV4S had all these 4-5 cost centers, but it doesn't require the welding. Just suppose it doesn't require the welding, right? What will happen? I will say, okay, if it doesn't require the welding, it means no production of 53 quantity was there, but it further passes through the JV, it further passes through the forming, it further passes through the assembly. Correct. Maybe this cost center, this product, the ENV56, this doesn't require the assembly. You can say this. So what will happen through this equivalent production? What will happen through this production? While you are calculating the cost of the product, this cost of the welding machine will not go to this particular product EN4S, right? The cost of the assembly section will not go to this ENV5C. Therefore, but in my case, the entire products were going through with all the, the cost centers. Correct. So this was the equivalent production. Now let us calculate the absorption overhead, absorption overhead rates. Correct. Now the entire allocation distribution is done. Now just have a look on this. This is your cost. See the total equal production of punching 12194. Yes, it went through with all the cost centers. So the punching total number of quantity was went through the punching cost center was 12194. See, the total production is 12194. If in case this ST10 doesn't require this punching, then definitely what we have to do, 12166, right? 12166. But now the total 12194 went through the punching. So the cost, the absorption cost, cost center wise production cost is total employee cost, right? This total employee cost divided by this punching cost. Sorry, the total employee cost is this 8760, correct? 8760 divided by this 12194. This is basically the per unit employee cost of punching cost center. In the same line, the power and fuel, the total cost of power fuel is 399513, and the total product went through the punching cost center was 12194. Therefore, the cost of the power and fuel cost of the punching cost center is total power and fuel cost of the production, this, and divided by this cost 12194. Now it comes to 32.76, and likewise this. Now what will happen? Now I will calculate my production cost center wise: employee cost, power fuel cost, repair building cost, rent cost, depreciation cost. Nobody can ask you whether you have prepared your item wise and cost center wise cost as per CRA1, etc., etc. Yes, classification may be a different, right? Basis of allocation may be a different, but you are following all the things that basically a allocation or the costing actually required. See, this is a building repair cost. Now what happened? See, the CM 125, the total cost of repair and building is 976.80, and now it is available to me the cost center wise how much repair and building cost is to me, correct? Now, and how I have calculated this? See, the punch CM 1250 has a 625 quantity production, right? And this is a punching is 7, the cost to the punching call center is 71.59. Kaise aaya? What the total quantity of production multiply by the punching machine repair and building cost per unit. Just go to this repair building, this punch 0.11 per unit cost. This 0.11 you can see here. So what we have to do, 625 multiply by 0.11, like this. See, E6. See, primary distribution. I have given this. This is the cost, 0.11. And like this, in the repair plant or power fuel, I would say, right? The total cost to see just have this slim door, correct, is 2682, suppose, right? And the assembly section, the cost center has a power cost is 1257. How it came? What was the basis of this calculation? The total product manufactured, 6 product manufactured, right? 6 doors basically they manufactured, multiply by the rate, absorption rate we have calculated of the power cost for the assembly section. Just go back to this. Power section for the assembly 20958. So 20958 multiply by 6, it will come 1257, like this, right? So this was, I will tell you about the scrap sale later on, right? So what I did, the RMC I have on actual basis, that I have already shown you. The average raw material consumption was there. There was a 2% of deviation. variance, and that variance has been further allocated to the production. The actual RMC consumption is available to me, right? And the further the power is basically taken from the power cost center wise, what you can see here, right? This is the power cost for each of the product: direct employee cost, consumable cost, repair and maintenance cost. Sometimes some of the cost is not available with you, correct? The other production overheads or many other costs, if the basis of allocation is not available to you, it is up to you to what basis you want to take. You can take, because in some of the cases you can see I have taken this, just have a look, just wait on this. uh, I this other production overhead, I this was not available to me, that how much, how it has to be allocated. So this is further allocated on the material consumption basis, right? Just wait, huh? Narayan sir, when we'll discuss about the reconciliation statement, there is a concept of, we have to incorporate the figures of the under absorption and over absorption. We'll discuss that, right? Anyways, correct? So this is basically the entire, the scrap sale. One of the respected members asked about the credit of recovery, right? The credit of recovery is basically the recovery from your manufacturing. If you have sold out the scrap, means while you are manufacturing a product, you have generated some scrap, and when you are selling out this particular scrap, you are having some revenue from the sale of the scrap. It means you are basically, it is be called as the credit for recoveries, means you got some recovery out of your total cost, right? Because otherwise it was your cost, but now you have sold out this scrap and you are realizing something. So you can further, if it is item wise available to you, that is fine. Otherwise, with the discussion of the company, you can further allocate this, because some of the details I have prepared and I have taken from this scrap sale, right? So this scrap sale is basically was given to me item wise, something that I have prepared. There is some documentation and something. So either if it is available to you, generally it is not available with the, with the company, because how much scrap for how much for the product. So generally what happened, you can take any of the basis to distribute this credit for recovery from the to each of the product. So this scrap sale has to be reduced from your total cost. But remember one thing, there is a two types of scrap, correct? There is a two types of scrap. One is related to your manufacturing and one is not related to your manufacturing. The only scrap realization which is related to your manufacturing can be considered here as a credit for recovery. Other sale realization which is not arise, which was not from your manufacturing the product, right? So that will not be considered as a credit of recovery, but it will be considered, will be taken in the reconciliation statement, correct? Trading scrap is there, then it's treated as non-cost. Sir, what is trading scrap? Okay, so this is basically the total cost of production calculated here based on the product. Now you have seen that the entire production cost is available to you, the cost center wise and item wise, product wise, correct? This statement I have already shown you, the opening stock, closing stock. One more thing, in the next session, see, today we are only talking on a general manufacturing company, because while we are preparing the cost records of a company, that is depending upon industry to industry. Therefore it would be a difficult to discuss each and every item here. But yes, at least we can have a discussion on a general manufacturing companies, right? And all of your, the queries, whether related to the general manufacturing or not, will definitely be addressed and will be shared to you personally, right? Yes, R Narayan sir says about the WIP calculation and FG calculation. Sir, I'm telling you one thing, that in the next session I have prepared, based on the MHR, right? The WIP calculation and FG valuation. So that I will share with all of you, that how to calculate or how to value the FG inventory or the WIP inventory, correct? So that we have to see in the next session, because I know it would be difficult for all of you, in fact, to to receive this much in a particular session, right? So I will show you, because I just want to give a look, just have a look on this FG calculation and presentation. Just wait for this. I have prepared, because I also myself prepared, in different industries, companies, that how to calculate the WIP and this. But we are talking in a generally manufacturing company. So how generally company asks, when the companies are into the finalization of balance sheet, they ask us for valuation of the inventory. So how we calculate, basically, I just want to give a view on this. Just wait. I'm not going to tell you anything on this right now in this session. We will discuss in the next session. Just want to show you that in a different company, how we are working on valuation of the inventories. See, I already told you about the equivalent production, which was very important in that part, because it help us to calculate the WIP valuation, because some of the product doesn't passes through with all of the cost centers, and we cannot load that cost of that cost center where the product has not passes through. So therefore the equivalent production has to be prepared if we are calculating, because generally what we say in the theoretical way, that the WIP has to be valued till the stage of completion. But what stage of completion, what cost centers have been, the product has passes through, so we have to carefully taken care of it. So this, see, the entire, the cost center, you can see this cementing, plug, float, equipment, etc. The cost centers is available to me, and the machine data. And now it is depending upon to company how much data they are ready to give us, right? Because we cannot fight that you have to give me all these data. If they will not provide, I can't do anything, and you know this practically, right? Every company doesn't provide. Just have a look on this power load of the machines, right? This is the equivalent production that I already told you, right? These are the cost centers, correct? Just have a look on this. These are the stock statements. WIP stock is that available to me. I will discuss in the next section. This machine cost conversion WIP. This is the way we calculate the WIP valuation or FG valuation. We'll discuss in the next session, right? So I will not go in detail right now. Correct. Just hold on, because this is a practical workshop. That is the reason I'm showing you the Excel working, because going through with the presentation will not solve the purpose. So this is the sales value quantity that I have already given you. Now just have a look on this administrative overhead. And how much administrative overhead I have done this? 71223, right? So what was the 71223? Just see. Allocated where is the see the allocated, which was taken from the allocation of the primary distribution 38944, and the direct, which was directly identified. Yes, these expenses are related to the administration. The total is 71223, right? But some of you will say, yeah, anyways, let me complete this first, right? So these are basically the individual cost statement of each of the product, correct? Now I incorporate this into my, the format available to me, because the entire product is basically, the falls under single HSN 8-digit code. So I have to report not the individual's 55 cost statement, but I have to club down this particular figure, right? This figure has to be report on this, not the individual figure, correct? Because the unit of measurement is same and HSN code is same. So only single product has to be reported in the company, and this figures will be directly posted through the VLOOKUP or whatever the way you want to choose. You can directly post this into, just hold down. Then you can directly post this into this cost statement as notified or recommended or suggested by the government of India, right? बस फर्क इतना है कि हॉरिजेंटली और वर्टिकल का फर्क है बस, बाकी सब कुछ कॉस्ट वैसे ही सेम है, करेक्ट? The per unit cost you can calculate, because the quantitative discussion we have already done. So with the quantitative details, the per unit cost can further be calculated. So the objective is, because what we have seen in the past, that the government of India has also asked cost auditor to come with the audit documentation and the entire record, right? So I doesn't want any one of you or any one of our CMA colleagues, CMA friend, practicing member, कि हम वहां जाके we are not able to respond to the department. So at least we should have a complete working, right? Because the rule specifically says that you have to prepare the item wise cost statement, right? So if you are not able to show the item wise cost statement, this would be called as the non compliance. Therefore, on the backup side, you have to prepare these entire records. See, nobody can question you that why you have classified this expense into production overhead or into the repair maintenance or into this, right? Because it is the costing is based on the application of mind. It is not based on the thumb rule like debit what comes in and credit what goes out. All the the expenses are debit, all the incomes are credit, etc., etc., right? So the cost accounting is not based on the golden rules. This is basically based on the application of mind. Hence, but yes, in case of classification of the expenses, you have to be little careful. Specifically, as I discussed with you, the raw material, the cost of production, and the cost of sales. This is an important part, I would say, right? So this was the annexure B1. Although there is a lot of things to discuss, and I understand that it does not, it would not be possible everyone to prepare the working like this. My objective was only to tell you that how the data gets flow, and what level of volume you have to prepare, right? So at least you have to identify the cost center. If you are not able to identify the cost center on the machine or production line basis, you go to the item product wise, product A, B, C, D, E. If you are not able to get data on the workers details, or the floor area details, etc., etc., because many of the companies says yaar hum pe nahi hai, jaldi isko karo, it is not possible for us. You can choose any of the raw. See, till the cost of production you can allocate cost on the raw material basis, because major cost is based on the raw material. If it is available, I request all of you to prepare the details on detail. But if it is not possible, what will you do? So the and first, till the cost of production, you can further allocate this into the raw material cost. The selling and administrative cost can further be allocated in the in the sales portion. And the cost accounting standards here, even further, the guidance note of the institute is also recommend this or suggest this. So these are the things. Can you explain the cost of finished goods purchase number? I don't know, sir, whether you have attended the last session or not. That I have already told you that the cost of the finished goods purchase of the same product for which you are reporting the cost audit report has to be mentioned in the cost audit report only. If you just go to this annexure, see if you can see the cost of finished goods purchase. But these cost of finished goods purchase has to be the same, correct? Whatever the product you are manufacturing, and this cost has to be incorporated here, right? If the product is not same which you for which you are reporting, then this cost of the finished goods will be taken as the profitability of the profit and loss of the unaudited products, and that will be taken up in the this reconciliation statement, sir, right? So just hold on, just hold on. Give me a second, please.
Manish,
Ji, sir.
Manish, till the time we are getting a lot of question in the chat box, so we can compile those questions,
Yes,
and
sir.
later on we can answer them individually also, and we can have a
Sir, I think
compendium.
there is so many questions, and
Yeah.
after the session, I will ask to the admin to kindly compile all the questions, then we'll respond them.
Yes, yes,
Because,
definitely,
right,
definitely.
and
Yeah.
the admin overhead related to the production. This is very good question that as already asked by the Pawan sir, and now the Charu ma'am is also keen to to hear about this. The administrative overhead relating to production. See, the production overhead and the relating to admin overhead related to production are somehow same, but I will tell you something like the how the production overhead is different, and admin overhead relating to production is different. See, generally what happen, I will tell you, like the employee cost, right? One of my employee is engaged in the production line, correct? One of my employee is engaged in the production line. He is basically directly identified to the production, so he is a direct employee cost. Now let us go to the employee who is a supervisor, right? Who is supervising all the workers working in the production line. He is not directly engaged to the production line, but he is coming after 2 or 3 hours. He is just supervising or monitoring to the workers. So his employee cost will be considered under the production overhead. Because he is working and in the factory, right, or he is working for the production, therefore the employee cost is not directly but indirect but related to the production, therefore it is a production overhead. But Now the third category comes the admin overhead relating to the production. See an accountant who is sitting in the factory and doing the accounting service, accounting working only for that plant, only for that plant, I'm telling you. Then his salary will come under the administrative overhead relating to the production, correct? If he is sitting in the factory and working for that factory only, his part of the cost will also considered. So anything, any administrative activity which you classify them as a post, the cost of production part, but somehow these activity are taking place within the factory, especially specifically, or I would say categorically for that plant or unit only, factory only, then such administrative activity will classified under administrative overhead relating to the production, right? Yes, factory admins. Yes, sir. All the factory admin is part of the production overhead. I already told you that in some of the cases, because if you go to the CAS 23, there is mentioned that admin part of the production overhead, right? Because sometimes the companies has the some issues relating to the production overhead and related to the administrative production overhead. So all the administrative activity related to the factory or unit will be classified under the administrative part of the production, right? So this was the thing. Okay, it will be good for reference if the Excel file containing the format worksheets been shared with the participants, that we have to think over it, sir. Please compile all the questions. Anyways, so we'll compile, yes, all the questions. We will definitely share with all of you, right? So that was the entire section about the B1. I will not go further. I will discuss, the rest of the portion of this B1 related to the interest and finance cost, right? Related to the captive consumption, right? And many other important elements of this B1, which is still left, will discuss with you in the next section, along with the reconciliation of the cost statement. So my this annexures B1 and reconciliation will take 2 sessions. One session today we have done, right? Because I know we cannot complete this B1 in a particular session, in a one session only, one go only. So we'll go with the next session as well, because some of the important the concepts are still left, because many of the people have problem in the interest and finance cost. Many are taking it into the non-cost item, many are taking into this cost item, or some of the portion of the interest and finance cost are taking into the cost, and some of the portion is not taking. So what my understanding and the concept says, that will share you in the next part of the session, means the most probably the Thursday. Chairman, sir, what we have recommended, that because 23rd, 24th, 25th is a national cost convention, right? So the next Saturday is 24th. So I suggested to take the next session in the Thursday evening, right? So that, because Friday is the national convention, Saturday is national convention, Sunday is national convention, right? So we suggested this on the Thursday evening. Most probably the in between 5 to 8, or whatever the time would be finalized, we will convey to all of you. So that was the
Certainly.
thing.
Actually, I think few of them are in the job. So considering their perspective also, we should be after 6, I think.
All right,
That
sir.
would be,
No
that would
issue,
be
sir.
fine.
We'll see accordingly, because the objective is to reach the things with
Yes, 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 yes.
each of the member.
Yes, I think this program is going super program for the practitioners, and I think everyone is enjoying in this program. Uh, as we have already planned that we should enhance our colleagues' knowledge to the costing profession, and it is great service by the Manish Kandpal ji, and he himself initiate this program, and I think it is great. You can say the gesture from his side that he's tendering his knowledge to the profession. And I would like to add one thing that yesterday we announced one meeting room at the NIRC center. So if you are willing to have any kind of discussion, then you can fix that meeting over there, and you can discuss costing issues with your colleagues. So there is one that dedicated members facility is there. That room will be available for everyone on the working day. So you can pre-book your schedule there, and you can discuss costing issues and other issues also. So this is the initiative from the NIRC for the members. Uh, those are registered in the uh, institute register. So please avail this facility also whenever you feel that there should be some discussion uh, from the member side. And I think as Manish ji said that in the next Thursday we will plan this session, and I think it will be 2 or 3 sessions will be left, Manish ji.
Yes, sir. Two or three, maximum three, sir.
Maximum 3.
Ah.
So and it is good to see that people are participating in a large manner. Still 150 members are at the uh, last minute, so it is great to see that. And I think such kind of a webinar much needed in the profession, and certainly we will continue such kind of initiative in the future also. So thank you, Manish ji. Thank you, everyone. I think it should be concluded now, or
Yes,
you
sir.
want to say
Yes, sir.
something?
It is concluded, and definitely one of the members says that there should be a series on cost accounting standard as well. Yes, there should be a series on this, sir. Definitely, this is a suggestion. And after concluding this series on the cost audit, we'll definitely start the on the cost accounting standards. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes, definitely. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for your active participation.
The timing of the next session will be shared with you by the NIRC through the mail or the WhatsApp group that has been created.
Yes, I would like to add one thing, that those are willing for the next session. In fact, those have not joined till this program, but want to join next program. So we can convey to them also that if they are willing, rather to restrict only those people those have joined. I think we can communicate to them also. Good. I would ask to admin that please send mail to all people those are willing to join for next programs also. Thank you everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.